so amazing, it's literally out of this world. Two of the greatest horror films ever made just so happen to be films about aliens. It's the original Alien versus the remake of The Thing, next on Horror Face Off.
On this episode, we have your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, horror fan Tanya, TikTok and social media star Jacob, horror fan Tony. They join the horror face-off slasher Leighanne and me, your host, Jason.
Hello everybody, welcome to Horror Face Off. We've got a heavyweight tilt tonight. We've got Alien versus The Thing, two of the greatest alien films ever made, especially in this genre. And I'm pumped. I'm pumped for this episode, and we got some passionate fans to break it all down, and we will meet them in a second. But first, this is how you play the game.
We take two horror films and match them up against each other. Using specific categories, the show's fearless panelists dissect every bone-chilling detail. In the end, the film that has the most category points wins Horror Face-Off. But the panel needs to think fast, for they only have a limited time to make their case. If they take too long, they will be killed.
All right, and of course, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Leighanne. How's it going, Leighanne?
I'm good. I'm ready to write off some of these panelists tonight.
Great. And as usual, we will meet our panelists before we start the show. Of course, you've got 12 seconds to speak your mind, and otherwise you will be killed. And we will start off with Uncle Pete.
Hey, I'm Uncle Pete. You can find me on YouTube under Your Friendly Neighborhood Uncle Pete, where I talk about the stupid decisions made in horror movies. And you can find me in The Last Amityville movie, streaming right now.
All right. Tanya.
Hi, I am Tanya. It's Miss Tanya88 on Instagram, and I'm just a horror fan.
Tony.
Tony Terror, no other handle than that. I love horror movies, and that's why I'm here. Happy to be here again.
All right. And finally, Jacob.
Hi, I'm Jacob Hoff. I can be found on TikTok and Instagram, Jacob M. Hoff, and on YouTube at Sam and Jacob, and I'm a horror fanatic.
All right. All seasoned pros now. They got all their bios in before the 12-second kill time. So that's good. That's good. We're off to a good start because the real star of the show is going to be these movies. And I'm pumped to see which one's going to come out on top. So let's get down to it. Alien versus The Thing. And we will start off with plot. And for this one, we'll start off with Uncle Pete.
Yeah, for this one, tough, but it's clobbering time. I'm going with The Thing. I think it had a little bit more going on. You know, it's an alien that can exactly replicate any human or no being. No one knows who to trust. As the viewer, we don't know who The Thing is. That makes it feel more real. We're experiencing what the characters are in a small way. We feel that paranoia. You got the ambiguity of who goes there. That really sells the plot. Alien, landmark horror film, don't get me wrong, but after the chest burster scene, okay, that's going to go kill a bunch of people. In a Thing, you don't know who's the Thing, how the Thing is going to kill, what they're going to kill, how they're going to kill. It's just wonderful, and I love it.
All right. Well said. Tony, you're up.
All right, so Alien follows the crew of a spaceship who encounter a deadly alien life form where, you know, The Thing just tells the story of a group of researchers in Antarctica, and they encounter this, you know, what is it exactly, right? It's like almost like a virus alien. I think both plots are just, you know, a great blend of like sci-fi and horror, two of my favorite genres. But I have to give the edge to Alien because just the concept of horror in space is, you know, something that really terrifies me, and I think it just really gives it the edge.
All right. Coming in on time. Tanya, you're up.
Both of these movies are so good. They're very similar in a lot of ways and really hard to compare because, again, these are two of my favorites too. But I think both plots are excellent. They have maybe like deeper meanings you could pull from both about our own fears and insecurities, as well as like an actual fear that you can point to. And while Alien is great, I think that plot has been done before. Something is chasing you and killing you, where with a thing you don't really know who it is or what it is. So I'm going to give this one to The Thing.
All right. And finally, to end off the first round, Jacob, you're up.
I definitely think that both have a great plot line, but I think Alien falls into the tropes of a common slasher movie. You have a sole survivor, you have people getting picked off, and kind of the alien acting the role of Michael Myers or Black Christmas already did it. The Thing is a whodunit plot, also kind of Western in the way it's you're mysterious as to who you can trust and not trust, and the buddy dynamic. So I have to give it to The Thing for originality.
I like that. The Thing, Western kind
That's
of
a good
vibe
one.
up. I like that. Yeah, not bad. I never thought of that. All right, so we move on to the next category, which this one's an interesting one. I'm curious to see where everybody lands. Setting, and for this one, we'll start off with Tanya.
Okay, this one was easy for me. I hate the cold. I hate snow. While I feel like you would feel isolated and scared in Antarctica, it's easily Alien for me. I love the like sterile horror of spaceships. They're just like hospitals almost, kind of like really machine-like. And anytime there's a setting that's on a spacecraft of any kind, that's what I'm gonna go with. It's also truly isolated. Space is terrifying, way more terrifying than being in Antarctica, in my opinion. So, Alien.
All right. I mean, it's just Tanya's first opinion, so it might change, but I'm like the kiss of death. Every time I say, oh, this category is going to be close, it starts off with Tanya saying, well, this one's easy for me, and I'm like, all right, okay. So let's move on to Jacob. Setting, you're up.
I also really, the cold is an interesting sort of place to set something, and they both have that isolation thing, which really makes great horror. I also am going to give it to Alien because the outer space is so unique and eerie, and the way it's captured in the movie is really fantastic. It has that sort of echoey, like this, you could just go into a void forever with it, and I love the tone of it.
All right. Tony, you're up.
Yeah, so Alien, and what Jacob said, I agree. It's it's desolate, it's isolated, but it's also claustrophobic and cramped, right? Because it's in a spaceship, right? And I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but if I'm watching a scene that's underwater, all of a sudden I can't breathe. So when I see a scene that's in a spaceship, I get claustrophobic. Whereas The Thing takes place again, there's desolation of Antarctica, and I think to that, because there's that chilling desolation, and I just love any movie with snow in it. I think that kind of heightens this sense of dread. So I give it to The Thing.
Right. So you're giving it to The Thing. Okay. It was funny because you're like, when I'm underwater, I feel like, I can't breathe. And then watching a space film, I thought you were going to say you feel like you're flying, you're floating. But you didn't go that way. All right. Uncle Pete, let's finish it off.
Again, both agree with isolation, but The Thing is going to edge it out for me. There's no easy escaping either, especially after Blair breaks the radios and destroys the helicopters and stuff. But I love movies that take place in the snow. I love the cold. I love the snow. I should move to Canada, eh? So the setting here is just as important as one of the characters because The Thing wants to hide in the snow so it can go to sleep. Both the Nostromo and Outpost are small and confined. They're both great with the isolation and everything. So for me, it came to which one I'd rather be in. I'd rather be in the Outpost than the spaceship because in the Outpost they had whiskey, weed, pool table, pinball, and an arcade machine. So I'd rather be in the Outpost.
All right, just in the nick of time. Good job. All right, so we're moving on to round 3, and it's been a pretty easy night for Leighanne so far, but we'll see if we get her here. Filmmaking, and again, I include in this category score, cinematography, direction, everything you want is thrown into filmmaking. So make it count. And we'll start off with Tony Terror.
Yeah, so both movies terrifying. Alien, directed by Ridley Scott. A ton of atmospheric tension, right? Like just you can kind of feel it just building. And The Thing, John Carpenter, obviously fantastic, very suspenseful, and a fantastic story. I think very unique. But I have to give this one to Alien because just the use of kind of silence and darkness really creates a sense of eerie feeling around you. So I have to give that to Alien.
All right, Jacob, you're up.
This one's really hard. They both have unique filmmaking style. Alien's style is a little more forward. You can tell that there's a filmmaker and an auteur behind it. And to me, The Thing has more of a kind of cold, subjective view of what's going on. The scores are both great. Jerry Goldsmith's for Alien is fantastic, although I love John Carpenter's music. I think I'm also going to go with Alien, though, just because the tone is so perfect, and I put so much into style and tone. I think it's the hallmark of talent.
It's close. All right, Uncle Pete, you're up.
None of these categories are easy, so by a small margin, still going to be clobbering time with The Thing. Right at the start, that score hits. Dum, dum. Dum, dum. And it's like, ooh, that's John Carpenter knows how to hit it. It opens up with the Norwegian shooting at a dog. Like, why is he shooting at his doggy? It's a doggy. Why is he shooting at the dog? Unless you speak Norwegian, he's saying, get away from that dog. It's not a dog, it's a thing. I love the mystery as you don't know who the thing is. Trust going away from everybody. And it's the small touches with the special effects, and we'll get to that. Like the scream of Norris thing when his head is stretching off. It just gives me goosebumps, the way he plays that. And that scene right there, Palmer thing, sums it up best when it turns into a spider, the head. You've got to be fucking kidding. Yeah. That's what you say the end.
But you got it in. You got it in. That's you got the line in, which is great. Yeah, no, I was happy. I was like, oh, come on, he's got it. I know where you were going with it, and then you finally hit it. So good job with that. I wonder if that movie is like ruined for Norwegian speaking people. If if they're watching it for the first time and they're like, oh, it's a dog. All right. Anyways, Tanya, you're up.
Again, these are hard. Both of them, I think the scores are great for both. The cast is great. I think both of them have like a great cast that really show it like unraveling through the movie. Like the whole thing is an Alien. I want to give it to Alien because I like how it keeps bringing you back and you're like safe. Like you think it's safe again. Like when they're all eating or when Ripley first gets off the spaceship, you're like, okay, we're safe. And then it keeps coming back. And I really love that about Alien. But The Thing, I'm going to give it to The Thing. I like the little clues that they give you that you don't really know who it is, but as they're learning, you're learning too.
Yeah. All right. Well said, though. Drink up. Cheers. All right. So we move on to characters, and we will start this one off with Jacob. You're up.
Characters is really another one that's crazy because they both have great ensemble casts. I mean, Keith David and Kurt Russell are two of my favorite actors. In rewatching Alien, I found them all to be so unique, and Sigourney Weaver's character, kind of throwing that female wrench into this all-male thing is really fascinating. And I think I'm going to have to give this one to Alien too, as much as it's hard to say. I just think they're the cast, they stand out a little more. Some of the guys in
See, now you're getting the frustration of like not getting your point out. I know, I could tell. All right, Pete, you're up.
Yeah, I wrote down in my notes, this category is like choosing between $100 and $101. Yeah. Both have so many memorable characters. If you want to make a top 10 list of protagonists in horror, Ripley and R.J. McCready are going to be on that list. But I have a fondness for the crew of Outpost 31. Childs, Gary, Palmer, Blair, I'll kill you. Norris and Bennings, each one that had their own specific job, and it made me feel authentic. Like Jacob said, they all felt unique. That's how I felt about the Thing. You got the doggies, even though Alien did have Jonesy, credit there. But the way everybody played off each other, and like Bennings, I was shot today. No, it just doesn't turn the radio down. So you got that cabin fever sinking in. And you get the character.
Wilford Brimley's great acting when he shoots the gun. He's like this.
I kill you.
It's like kids. Bang. Anyways. All right. So we'll go to Tanya. You're up.
Just to state it again, this was hard. I actually thought about coming down to just like, do I prefer cats or dogs? Like, it's that hard. I don't know what to pick here. But I'm gonna go with the Thing. Again, they both have great cast and characters, and they do a good job at like going back and forth between those characters, and they progress the story along with what they're doing, and then they're getting killed off as it goes, and everybody does just such a good job. But I love the guys in the Thing. I think that all of them have these different personalities that they do in Alien as well. But I just think that for some reason that movie's so, as serious as it is, it's so funny, and I know it's due to like the diversity of that cast.
All right. You're all dying now because you're so passionate about this category. All right, Tony, you're up.
Yeah, that's true. The characters really make the movie, right? But in this case, I think the movies are so strong they could stand on their own, and so it's like the characters become like a really fluid part of it. If I had to choose, though, I'd have to say the Thing, just because like you really feel that the sense of paranoia and suspicion amongst everyone, right? And that kind of you kind of feel that in your chest, and I think that just makes the whole kind of psychological drama a little bit more intense. So I'll have to give this one to the Thing.
All right. Yeah, everybody loves Kurt Russell. I think it's universal. But Keith David, man, that guy should have been an A-lister beyond. That guy is just awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on to kills, deaths, however you want to look at it. And for this one, we'll start off with Uncle Pete.
As good as the chestburster scene is, it got ruined for me because of Spaceballs. Order my ass, get this guy some Pepto-Bismol, because you still got John Hurt playing Kane. So it kind of ruins it for me a little bit. But the Thing, when Palmer Thing kills Windows and his head opens up, tongue wraps around him, and then he's screaming and the legs are shaking and he gets thrown in. He's all bloody and yelling. Everybody's freaking out. Mac looks shocked trying to get the Thing. When Doc kills Carrie and his fingers go in his face and it's just stretching it, ugh. It's just more kills in the Thing. I went like, ugh. Alien, some of it was kind of off screen. If it was cool with the face coming out, but yeah, Thing.
But nothing. All right, nothing. All right. We move on. Jacob, you're up.
So the Thing definitely has the more vivid, more, intense kills of both movies. Aliens, like Uncle Pete just said, a lot of them I realize happen off screen, minus the chest burster and a couple of moments. There are kind of those like Friday the 13th early cutaway things, and the Thing, the boldness to just like take it that fucking far with those things, I have to give it to that movie. I mean, it's so intense.
Sorry, to the Thing?
To the Thing, absolutely.
All right. Tony Terror. Go for it.
Yeah, so, chest bursting scene aside, I think the Thing has the kind of grotesque transformations. They're transforming from living to dead, obviously, but, from something human to something non-human. So I feel like I would give the edge to Aliens in this one because those kills have a little bit more of a shock value to them and a little bit more original. Although, the Thing does have, those transformations that really kind of take time. I'll have to give this one to Aliens.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tanya, you're up.
I had to keep reminding myself to separate kills from like special effects in this category because I'm thinking, man, those kills are cool, but are they just cool because I like how they look? But I do prefer the Thing. I think it's because it's, you know, what's killing you in Alien, and you know, like, that's what's killing you. In the Thing, it's like, who's killing me? My friends, the people that I'm, you know, working with. I like those. I think they have more meaning. It's again way cool. There's good chest busting in both movies. So they're both great kills, but the Thing.
Kill!
I got that one in.
You're all right. I'm not going to argue. Leanne's the fighter of the two of us. But well done. All right. So now we will move on to suspense. Actually, I want to just get back to the kills thing, and it's funny because, like, you know, all these categories are what speaks to you, right? So the over the top gore might be a great kill, but if the suspense kill does it for you, then you go with that, right? Like, it doesn't have to be the overtly obvious grotesque.
It was interesting too when Tony brought up that, like, the transformations are different than a kill. Like, if they're already gone off screen and are just turning into the alien, it is different. So
yeah,
that.
For sure.
Technicality,
Yeah.
All right, we move on to suspense, and for this one, we'll start off with Tony.
So, so with Alien, I think, you know, this suspense builds over time. Like, every time they have, like, this encounter with the xenomorph, with the alien, and the Thing is more the tension with, you know, again, like, who's infected, right? I guess it's an allegory to communism in the U.S., right, during the 1950s and 60s, right? But I think, you know, just because there's this constant nerve-wracking suspense, I'd have to give it to the Thing, because it just seems like it just continues throughout the entire film.
All right, Uncle Pete.
I gotta test his blood first, because the blood test scene, that suspense right there, the Thing. Watch it dozens of times, never loses its effectiveness. He's going one by one. Now I'll show you what I already know. Even as the viewer, you're like, okay, cool. You know, and he hits Clark, and like, oh, then makes you a murderer. Like, oh my God. And then Palmer just sits there. Oh my God. And it's one of my favorite parts of the movie. And and even the ending of the movie is suspense. You don't know if a child or Mac is a Thing. If you pay attention, neither are a Thing, but it doesn't matter. It's still talked about 40 plus years later because how suspenseful that movie ends. So, the Thing.
All right. And I think Jacob gave you a thumbs up there, so we'll see if he agrees.
Anything that just appeared.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. We've discovered some of these by accident. So,
wow.
All right, Jacob, you're up.
I would love to know what Alfred Hitchcock thought of the Thing, because to me, the Petri dish scene is like, could have been taken from him. I mean, it's so masterfully done. The fear of the unknown and the fear of, you know, who can you trust is, to me, such a great trope of suspense. Alien has tons of suspense, just wondering where that alien's going to pop up, but ultimately we know the villain and the danger, and it does detract a bit from the suspense of the whole piece. It doesn't mean the individual scenes don't make you jump, but definitely the Thing has...
Kill!
The Thing?
The Thing.
Just making sure. All right. Love killing you, Jacob.
I know.
We love killing everybody. Don't take it personally. All right. So let's move on to Tanya.
Okay, I tried to look at this one because I was torn on this one big time. Alien is really suspenseful. Again, just like this, we're out of it, but we're not out of it. I never know. And there's one scene where I didn't even see the xenomorph and the Queen in the shot until it moved. And it's like that. Now every time I watch it, I'm always looking. It's really suspenseful. And then I think there's a bigger suspense to both of them. Like, you could take the alien back to Earth. This virus could get out and spread to everyone. So the suspense isn't just like what's going on right now. It's like this could be a bigger problem. And overall, I think that the Thing does that better overall. So again, I feel like I'm giving them all to the Thing, but this one as well.
All right. All right, so we move on to special effects, and for this one, we'll start off with Tony Terra.
Right. Special effects. I mean, that the alien feels like it's alive. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like a puppet, right? I think the special effects really bring it to life. This one's really tough, and obviously, the effects in the thing are just like they're truly horrifying, right? But I think just for originality and because it just seems like so much effort went into it, I have to give it to the thing. Just because it's something that just has like this enduring impact, right? You keep on thinking of that, like head just growing legs and walking away.
Kill!
All right. The Thing. Uncle Pete, you're up.
You got Norris Thing, Palmer Thing, Dog Thing. All practical effects. I don't know how they did it to this day, 40 plus years later. H.R. Giger's design is chef's kiss, but the effects in the Thing are what legends are made of. Like I mentioned before, when Norris's head stretches off, and you hear that, when his head is, when this attention to detail, like with the dog in the kennel, that little flower thing opens up, it's all dog tongues. That's attention to detail. Plus, it's all these different creatures. It's replicated from across the cosmos. So anything you see, it replicated. And you saw that in the special effects.
Kill!
All right. Well done.
Been waiting
Well
on
done. Tanya, you're up.
Again, to speak on the practical effects, amazing. You can't talk about them without bringing these movies up. I just saw the Alien re-release a couple weekends ago in the theater, and I was with Jason, and he was getting up to go to leave, and I was like, no, you're gonna miss the facehugger, chest buster. Like he had never seen it, and I'm like, you don't understand how cool the effects are. And this is all done without CGI. So both movies are so good. But The Thing is so creative and different, and when you think about special effects or practical effects, that it just has to come up. Like, I don't know, and I feel like it's inspired so many things going forward from that movie.
Kill!
The Thing.
Inspired so many things.
Nice.
All right. To end off the round, we're going to go to Jacob.
The Thing has the greatest practical effects of all time. Hands down. If somebody wanted to see a representation of what practical effects are, I would put that movie on. Alien has great effects too. I feel like they may have not dated quite as well as The Thing. There's certain moments you kind of see the seams, you see the here and there. You start to see that they use the filmmaking to kind of mask some of the maybe effects in some regards. The Thing gives them to you all flat shot in full the entire movie.
That was close, Jacob. Real close. All right. So we move on to the next category, which is antagonists, Alien versus Alien. So let's see what happens here. Let's start with Tanya.
Well, if we're talking about the xenomorph as the antagonist and not the Leighanne, like going bigger, because was she really the antagonist? Because she didn't really do anything wrong. They kind of came to her planet. So I'm like thinking as Leighanne is the bigger antagonist. I'm still going to go with Alien for this one because I think the xenomorph is so iconic as an antagonist. And The Thing, it's like it could be anybody, it could be anything. I can't really tell you what The Thing looks like, or when I see it, I did so many things. So I'm going to go just like as an iconic horror antagonist. If we're talking about the xenomorph, Alien. Alien.
All right, so we're going to put at the beginning of this show, every time you hear the word thing, drink. We're going to go to Tony. You're up.
Yeah, I'm going to have to start looking for, next time I watch Alien, for the seams. I don't think I noticed it last time. But I have to say, the xenomorph, terrifying, deadly, right? Has everything you expect in giant teeth in an alien. The Thing's shape-shifting aliens, it keeps everyone guessing, and again, just builds that suspense. But for this one, as an antagonist, it's something you put a finger on, you see it, it's there. I'll have to give it to the xenomorph in Alien. It's great. It's great design, and I think it's just, apart from the seams.
I don't mean literal seams. I mean more like seams of the abilities of the special effects.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they mask them with filmmaking.
Yeah,
all right.
The thing is just you're right.
Zipper on the costume.
I feel
You see the guy's
like
watch on there.
right, exactly.
Jacob, you've had a running start with this category. You might as well carry it out. Go for it.
Yeah, I think the thing, is a fascinating thing, but the Alien, it's iconic. It's made it through so many movies. It's a whole franchise. And I love when they talk about it being like void of any sort of like the robot. I can't remember the robot's name, but it's in love with how void. Yeah, Ash is in love with how void of like remorse or compassion or anything that it has. So I have to give it to the Alien.
All right. And it's up to you, Uncle Pete. Will Alien get the clean sweep?
If all were you these things, you just attack me right now. So some of you are still human. This thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide inside an imitation. That's scary right there. Similar to what Tanya said, that you don't know, that's what makes it scary for me. If that made it back, that's why Blair destroyed everything, because if it makes it back, he showed that little simulation on what could happen. That is terrifying. Xenomorph, you could probably wipe out, even though it's got a great self-defense mechanism with acid blood. But that thing, the fact that it can hide, the thing can imitate a xenomorph. So I have to give the edge to the thing, since it can actually imitate, probably has imitated a xenomorph.
Kill!
Acid blood, smash it blood, right, buddy? I hear ya. So we're going with the thing. Okay. So we move on to movie poster. And we'll start off with Uncle Pete.
Alien this time. I know I've been heavy thing, but Alien. The egg doesn't tell you much, and I love it. You don't know what's inside, but you know you're not going to like it. Wonderful selection with the green light, which green can symbolize like beginnings and growth, which ties into that it's an egg. And it's a new being, not a new beginning. It's a new beginning and a new being, because it's this thing we've never seen before. And it's not the alien in the egg. It's the face hugger that turns into the chest burster, then turns into the xenomorph. But you don't know that. But you just know something's in that egg. I don't like it. You see the green. I'd have both on my wall, but that alien one just and in space, no one can hear you scream.
All right. Just under. Good job. Tony, you're up.
Yeah, this wasn't even difficult for me. It's Alien, iconic design, green ooze coming out of an egg, and again, like, in space, no one can hear you scream. I love that, right? It just seems so kind of futuristic, so scary, so sci-fi, and it has like all those elements in one. So I have to give it to Alien.
All right, Tanya.
This was probably the easiest category for me as well. While the thing is great, it's iconic and identifiable, and it really fits. It is the movie, like summed up in one image, I think, if you could sum it all up in one image without giving it away. But Alien, for me, 100%. I love the image. It's like a central image into like black, and that reminds me of space. It just disappears into infinity, and it's scary like space. It's just like haunting. So Alien.
All right, Jacob.
While I love the things like that shooting beam radiating out of the parka guy, like that's so interpretive of the movie, and I do agree that the alien image, the simplicity, you're attracted right to that egg, and then the blackness, the space, it immediately sets the tone of what that entire movie is. The Thing's poster is a little too colorful and a little too like, this could be bright and sunny. So I'm going to give it to Alien.
All right. Well done. So Alien is fighting its way back. That plucky spirit of that alien, eh? All right, so we will move on to the final category of this matchup, which is the ending. And for this one, we'll start off with Tony. You're up.
Right, so Alien, we can give spoilers, I guess, right? I guess we kind of have
40 years is good.
So, right, Aliens ending with Ripley defeating the Xenomorph. I thought it amazing. I think it was replicated in one of the Marvel movies. The Thing, open ending. What exactly happens? What's going to happen next? I'll have to give it to The Thing because it still leaves you in suspense. And I think I remember you saying one time, Jay, that the clones have no sparkle in their eye, and I was looking real hard for. I thought I saw it, but I didn't. So it's still open. I don't understand how it's going to end. Yeah, so.
Kill. I hate you dying when you're quoting me on something. That's yeah. So we move on to Tanya.
Okay, I like the ending of Alien. It's like it's nice. It's like, oh, she defeated him. He's dead. Like nothing else can happen. And I feel like they're kind of reversed because The Thing is so open ended. It's like, well, this could go on forever. But Alien's the one with all the sequels, not The Thing. So and they're kind of like reversed in that way. But I have to give it to The Thing because of being so open ended. It's like, what? Like you think they just had this big fight. And you're like, okay, but what? Because this could still be going on. Whereas Alien just kind of ties it up really nicely, and The Thing.
All right. Jacob, ending.
The ending of The Thing, I'm amazed, has not been ripped off more, or that trope of keeping a horror movie ambiguous hasn't been used more because it's so brilliant. We're used to kind of like the thing gets the villain gets defeated and then like they come back for like a pop-up for the end and you're like, oh, it's still alive. But the fact that you have no fucking clue is amazing. It's one of the greatest horror movie endings, period. Alien, pretty cut and dry, so it's got to go to The Thing.
All right, and to finish it off, Uncle Pete.
Gonna end it with clobbering time. One of the best, like Jacob said, one of the best endings in the history of horror. Mac blows apart up the outpost. The monster yells him, "Yeah, fuck you too!" Throws the dynamite, blows him up. Then Child shows up. Where the hell were you? He's like, "Oh yeah, the generator, blah blah blah." And then they sit down. Let's just sit here for a while. You don't know. I know it's supposed to be ambiguous. I don't think either are the thing. It doesn't matter what you think. Whatever you think, that's your ending. That's what I love about The Thing. Whatever you want it to be, that's it. It lets your brain go on what's going to happen. Did they both die? Did they survive? What happened? And then it ends. I got goosebumps thinking about it. Kurt Russell says,
what does he say? Watch The Thing to find out what Kurt Russell says at the end of the movie.
Damn it.
I know. I'm sorry. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, like, it's funny with The Thing. It gives you this giant sense of accomplishment with the explosion. It's like a victory. And then they just park down there and freezing to death. And it just, so it's kind of gives you everything and then takes it away. But, okay, so while Leighanne adds up the score, I'm going to give out the hot take, the bloody take of the match. And you guys, once again, had a lot of good takes. But I'm going to give it, because I learned something through this take that I probably should have already known when Tanya said both of them had, chest burst kills.
That was a good one.
I should have seen that, before. I don't know why I never did. So, Tanya, I believe this is your first bloody take. Yes.
Yeah.
Well deserved. It was and you know what? Actually, another one that I'm gonna say that was really, really good was when you said that how the thing ended. You'd think that would have all the sequels, but the
That's another
Alien.
good point.
Yeah. So you were
I like
hot
Jacob's
tonight.
take when he called the thing like a Western. That whole trusting with the Western, that was another good one.
That I have to give to my man Tarantino because he brought that up. He was inspired by The Thing to write The Hateful Eight.
Which is one of my top Tarantino films, even though that gets a lot of hate.
I love it. I love
scene.
it.
Yeah.
Stu.
Yeah. I love that stew, man. Every time I see it, I make it. So, the winner of this alien battle is The Thing, and it was not that close. So, congrats to The Thing. I still think it was a great matchup. I just think The Thing is a beast. And it truly is, because on Horror Face Off, it is now the only film to be 3-0. So congrats to The Thing, which took out Halloween, Jaws, and Alien. So not easy matchups.
Yeah.
So moving on, we're gonna have to see if anything could take The Thing down.
And like I said, it was like choosing between $100 and $101 between these two movies.
Yeah.
You put Alien can wipe out half a dozen movies easily.
Yeah, no, I know. It's sometimes just the matchup, right?
Yeah.
That being said, I'd like to thank the panel for their amazing insight. I thought this was a really, really quality show. Not to say the others aren't. I'd like to thank my slasher Leighanne for killing everybody so beautifully. And finally, don't forget to subscribe to the Kings of Horror YouTube channel and watch the Horror Face-Off shows. Like them, comment on them, pretend that it means a lot to you, because it means a lot to us. And finally, follow us on Instagram, and yeah, we'll see you on the next episode. What is that next episode? Stay tuned to find out.